There is a hidden cost to waking up, and it's a bill that comes due in the currency of your oldest relationships. If you've ever felt a growing distance between you and the people you've known your whole life, you're not losing your mind. You're likely losing an old skin. This isn't about becoming superior. It's about becoming different in a way that others can't yet see. And this shift creates one of the most isolating passages a person can face. The danger isn't physical, but it's profoundly real. The risk of losing your entire world, your sense of belonging, your identity, your security. Think of a snake. To grow, it must shed the skin that once protected it. During that shedding, it is exposed, vulnerable to the world. It has no choice. To remain would be to be constricted, to be limited by its own past form. We are no different. Our growth demands we shed the skins of old beliefs, comfortable relationships, and worldviews that have become too tight. And in that space between what was and what will be, we are left soft and open to a different kind of pain. So, what does it truly mean to outgrow your circle? It means you've started asking questions they are still asleep to. You've stepped outside the collective story, the agreed-upon narrative about what matters, while they remain inside its walls. Perhaps you've looked at the relentless chase for status, the accumulation of things, the endless noise of modern life, and sensed a deep emptiness within it all. You see the emptiness in the full-speed chase. Or maybe, through a moment of crisis, a period of deep reflection, or a sudden glimpse beyond the veil, you've perceived that reality is far more mysterious and interconnected than you were taught. You've seen the mirage of the separate self, and that sight is now irreversible. This realization places you in a difficult dual existence. You live in the everyday world of jobs and bills, but you also perceive a deeper, more fluid dimension humming beneath it. You must learn to navigate both. You must speak the language of the practical and the language of the soul. And this is an exhausting tightrope to walk. The people you love are still fully invested in the conventional game. Their worries about careers and social standing, which once felt so urgent to you, now seem to miss the point. Not because you don't care, but because you're wrestling with more fundamental truths, and you can't explain this at the dinner table. Try telling your family you've seen that consciousness is fundamental, and watch the concerned looks. You've lost your common mind, and you're left in a silence that breeds isolation. They will feel this change. They'll sense you're no longer fully playing your part. This makes people uneasy. Your very existence becomes a quiet question mark against their certainties. Their reactions will vary. Some will try to pull you back into the fold, telling you you've changed, and they don't mean it as a compliment. They'll label you as difficult or irresponsible. Others will simply drift away. The conversations run dry, the connection fades, not with a bang but a whisper. And some may become hostile, especially if your growth challenges a religious or ideological system they hold dear. You become a heretic, a lost cause to be corrected or avoided. This is the danger, the loss of your tribe. We are social creatures. We need to feel part of a whole. To risk that is to risk a core human need. So why not just pretend? Why not wear the old mask and keep the peace? Many try, but this is a soul-crushing compromise. First, it's utterly draining to constantly edit your thoughts, to perform a role that no longer fits, creates a fracture within you. You become separated from your own truth. Second, it's the opposite of authenticity. If you've discovered something real and then hide it, what was the point of the discovery? You bury your treasure and choose to stay poor. And third, your transformation will leak out, even in silence. Your energy, your presence, the light in your eyes communicates something has shifted. You can't hide a genuine awakening. So, you're trapped. You can't go back to who you were, but moving forward seems to demand a price you're not sure you can pay. This is the wilderness the mystics described. The wilderness between worlds is where you find yourself. This is the dark night of the soul. You've left the safe harbor, but haven't yet reached a new shore. You are in between. During this time, the loneliness can be absolute. You might regret everything, longing for the simple days when you just belonged. But you must understand, this isolation is not a sign of error. It is evidence of evolution. It is the necessary threshold every hero must cross alone in the old stories before they can return with something valuable. The treasure here is your authentic self, free from the conditioning of the crowd, but you cannot claim it while still begging for the crowd's approval. This doesn't mean you should be arrogant or deliberately provocative. That is just another ego trap. It means you accept this season of loss with grace. You understand that everyone is on their own journey, at their own stage. You hold compassion for them, even as your paths diverge. And you must trust that as you shed one layer of community, a new one will eventually find you. When you outgrow an old shell, you don't stay alone. You will find others who have also shed theirs. You will discover a new tribe, people who speak your unspoken language and share your questions. These connections often appear in unexpected ways: a conversation with a stranger, a book that finds you, a guide who appears when the loneliness is most acute. The key is not to cling desperately to the past out of fear, nor to angrily cut ties out of pride. Walk the middle path. Honor the relationships that can still hold you authentically. But never make yourself small to make others comfortable. And sometimes a miracle happens. Your own growth becomes a light that helps others find their way. They see a peace in you, a freedom, and they want it for themselves. The relationship then transforms, deepening into something more real. But you cannot control this. You can't force a flower to bloom. All you can do is be faithfully, unapologetically yourself. The rest you must release with love and gratitude for the role they played in your story, even if that chapter is now complete. The danger of profound growth is real. You may lose much of what once defined you. You will know loneliness. You will question the path. But on the other side of that wilderness is a freedom and an authenticity that makes every loss worthwhile. What you gain is your true self, not the costume you wore to belong. And when you finally possess that, you understand you never lost anything real. You only released illusions, facades, and false attachments. The real connections, the genuine love, either remain or are reborn in a truer, more profound form. So if you are in this space now, know this: your loneliness is a signpost on the path of awakening. This in-between state is temporary. The courage it takes to keep growing, to stay true to your vision even when it costs you the familiar world, that courage is the mark of a true seeker. The old self must dissolve for the new to emerge. There is no other way. But what emerges is more vibrant, more free, more truly alive than what came before. Trust the unfolding, trust your own growth, and trust that life is guiding you even when the path leads through the unknown. And if this resonated with you, please support our community by liking this video and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more explorations into the human journey.